You are tired, not just sleepy tired, the kind of tired that sits behind your eyes after work, the kind of tired that makes small decisions feel heavy, the kind of tired where cooking feels like another job, checking your bank account feels like bad news, and one small purchase feels like the only part of the day that belongs to you. So you order the food, you buy the thing, you upgrade the service, you tell yourself, I deserve this, and maybe you do, because you work hard, you deal with bills, pressure, family, stress, responsibilities, and the quiet feeling that life keeps asking for more than you have to give. So in the moment, it does not feel reckless. It feels like relief. It feels like one small way to breathe. But sometimes the purchase is not really about the thing. It is about wanting one moment where life feels lighter. And that is where self-care gets complicated, because self-care is not the problem. Rest is not the problem. Comfort is not the problem. Enjoying your money is not the problem. The problem starts when spending becomes the fastest way to escape stress, but then creates more financial pressure after the relief wears off. That is the trap. The thing that was supposed to help you recover quietly becomes another reason you feel behind. And the hardest part is, it does not look like a bad money habit while it is happening. It looks normal. It looks deserved. It looks like taking care of yourself. A bad day at work turns into delivery. A stressful week turns into online shopping. A lonely night turns into scrolling until something feels worth buying. A paycheck turns into a reward before any of it becomes protection, and none of those choices feel dangerous by themselves. That is why this habit is so hard to see, because emotional spending does not always feel like losing control. Sometimes it feels like finally having control. When life feels heavy, spending gives you something immediate. It gives you comfort. It gives you distraction. It gives you a reward. It gives you a small mood boost. It gives you a feeling of, at least I still get to enjoy something. And when everything else feels delayed, uncertain, expensive, or out of your hands, that immediate feeling can become powerful. Savings is slow, debt payoff is slow, investing is slow, building stability is slow. But ordering something after a bad day is instant. The confirmation screen appears, the food is on the way, the package is coming, the app says approved. For a few minutes, life feels less heavy. That is why people do it. Not because they are careless, not because they are lazy, not because they do not understand money, but because stress makes the present feel louder than the future. And when the present is loud enough, tomorrow becomes easy to ignore. The problem is not that it feels good. The problem is that it only feels good long enough for the money to leave. Then the relief fades, the account balance changes, the credit card balance grows, the emergency fund stays empty, and the same pressure you are trying to escape is still waiting for you. Only now, it has less money around it. This is where "I deserve this" becomes dangerous, because the phrase itself is not wrong. You do deserve rest. You do deserve comfort. You do deserve joy. You do deserve moments that make life feel less like survival. But "I deserve this" becomes a problem when every hard day becomes a reason to spend. Bad day at work, you deserve takeout. Stressful week, you deserve to buy something. Feeling behind, you deserve something that makes you feel successful. Feeling lonely, you deserve a distraction. Feeling burned out, you deserve convenience. Payday comes, you deserve to reward yourself before your money even has a chance to protect you. And that is how the pattern forms. Not from one huge purchase, not from some dramatic financial mistake, but from a collection of emotional decisions that all make sense in the moment. That is the dangerous part. Every purchase has a reason. Every charge has a story. Every little expense can be explained. But when every hard day needs a purchase to feel better, your emotions start making financial decisions before your goals get a chance. And over time, your money stops going where you said it would go. It starts going wherever your stress sends it. This is why convenience spending is one of the quietest money leaks. Because convenience does not feel like luxury. It feels practical. It feels necessary. It feels like survival. You are tired, so you order food. You are running late, so you pay for a ride. You forgot to plan, so you pay extra. You are exhausted, so you buy lunch again. You are overwhelmed, so you pay for the easier option. You are too drained to compare prices, so you accept the expensive one. And sometimes that is fine. Convenience is not evil. There are seasons where convenience keeps you functioning. There are days when paying extra for ease is worth it. The problem is when convenience stops being occasional and becomes the default. Because when exhaustion makes every decision more expensive, your stress starts charging interest. And it does not always show up as one big bill. It shows up as a life that costs more, because you are too tired to make it cost less. That is what makes this kind of spending so hard to fix. Because the solution is not just cook more, or stop ordering delivery, or cancel everything. That is too simple. The deeper question is, why does life feel so heavy that spending has become the easiest way to survive it? Because many people are not spending because they are careless. They are spending because they are depleted. And when you are depleted, the cheapest option often requires energy you do not have. Planning meals requires energy. Waiting requires energy. Saying no requires energy. Cooking requires energy. Checking your budget requires energy. Admitting you cannot afford something requires emotional energy. So the expensive option wins. Not because it is better, but because it asks less from you right now. That is why self-care spending feels so justified. It comes in at the exact moment your discipline is tired. And then social media makes the whole thing louder. Because online, self-care rarely looks simple. It does not usually look like sleeping enough, or taking a walk, or setting a boundary, or drinking water, or cleaning your space, or cooking a meal that makes tomorrow easier. Online, self-care often looks like spending, new clothes, skincare hauls, solo dates, aesthetic apartments, expensive coffee, vacations, spa days, new tech, soft life routines. A better version of you with better lighting, better furniture, better products, and a better looking life. And after seeing enough of that, your normal life starts to feel unfinished. Your apartment feels too plain. Your clothes feel outdated. Your routine feels boring. Your coffee feels basic. Your weekend feels small. Your life starts looking like something that needs upgrading. That is the quiet power of social media. It does not just show you products. It shows you a version of life that makes your normal life feel like it needs upgrading. And once your normal life starts feeling like the problem, spending starts feeling like the solution. You're not just buying the item. You're buying the feeling of being closer to that version of yourself. More put together, more successful, more peaceful, more attractive, more in control, more like the people who seem to have figured life out. But the problem is, you're often comparing your real financial life to someone else's edited lifestyle. You see the purchase. You do not see the credit card balance. You see the vacation. You do not see the overdraft. You see the apartment. You do not see the rent pressure. You see the soft life. You do not see who is financing it. And because the image is visible, but the cost is hidden, your brain starts treating spending as the path to peace. But sometimes, peace is not being sold to you. Pressure is. Because the real cost is not always the purchase. The real cost is what the purchase replaces. A $25 order does not feel like much. A $40 purchase feels harmless. A $70 weekend feels normal. And by itself, maybe it is. But money does not only disappear once. It disappears from every future thing it could have become. That $25 could have been part of an emergency fund. That $40 could have gone toward debt. That $70 could have paid a bill early. That $100 could have stayed in your account long enough to make next week less stressful. And this is where money gets emotional, because most people do not just need more stuff. They need breathing room. They need one less panic, one less overdraft, one less late bill, one less week where a small problem feels like a crisis. So when spending becomes the default form of relief, it quietly steals the kind of relief that would have lasted longer. The purchase did not just cost money, it replaced the chance to feel less fragile later. And that matters because many people are already living with thin margins. Not because they are irresponsible, but because life is expensive. Rent is expensive, food is expensive, transportation is expensive, debt is expensive, family responsibilities are expensive, unexpected repairs are expensive. And when your financial cushion is already thin, even small emotional purchases can hit harder than they look. Because the person with a strong cushion can absorb a bad week, but the person with no cushion has to finance the bad week. That is the difference. One person spends and moves on. Another person spends and pays for it emotionally next month. That is why self-care spending can become the very thing that creates the stress it was supposed to fix. You feel stressed, so you spend. For a moment, you feel better. Then the money is gone. Now you feel guilty. Then the bill comes. Now you feel pressure. Then life gets heavy again, so you spend again for relief. Stress, spending, guilt, pressure, stress, spending again. And after a while, it does not feel like a spending problem. It feels like your life is just impossible to manage. But the pattern is not impossible. It is just hidden. Some spending does not heal the pressure. It delays it until the bank balance reminds you. And that reminder can hit hard. Because now, the thing that was supposed to be self-care becomes something you avoid looking at. You avoid the account. You avoid the statement. You avoid the total. You tell yourself you will deal with it later. But later keeps arriving. And when later arrives, it brings interest, regret, and the same stress you were trying to escape. This does not mean you should never spend money on yourself. That is not the message. The goal is not to become cheap. The goal is not to turn your life into punishment. The goal is not to feel guilty every time you enjoy something. The goal is to tell the difference between care and escape, because real self-care should help you recover. Escape only helps you disappear for a moment. Real self-care makes tomorrow easier. Escape makes tomorrow more expensive. Real self-care protects your future self. Escape sends the bill to your future self and calls it relief. That is the shift. Instead of asking, "Do I deserve this?" ask a better question. Will this actually take care of me after the moment passes? Because some purchases will. A planned meal out with friends might genuinely be worth it. A gym membership you actually use might support your life. A small budgeted treat might keep money from feeling like only bills and sacrifice. A vacation you saved for might be real rest. That is not the problem. The problem is unplanned emotional spending that keeps pretending to be care while quietly making your life harder. So the move is not to remove joy. The move is to stop letting joy ambush your stability. Start with a real self-care budget, not because you should never enjoy money, but because enjoyment needs a place to live. When self-care has no limit, stress decides the limit, and stress is not good with money. Give yourself an amount, something realistic, something that allows you to enjoy life without letting every bad day reach into your future. This matters because guilt often comes from spending without structure. But when the money is set aside, enjoyment becomes cleaner. You are not sneaking relief from your future. You are spending from a place you already planned. Then name the emotion before buying. Not in a dramatic way. Just pause and ask, am I buying this because I want it? Or because I am tired, lonely, stressed, bored, discouraged, overwhelmed, trying to feel successful, trying to feel in control? That one question can reveal the difference between desire and pressure, because sometimes you do want the thing, but sometimes you want the feeling you think the thing will give you. And if what you really need is rest, a package will not fix it. If what you really need is connection, a purchase will not fix it. If what you really need is control, another payment will not fix it. If what you really need is peace, spending money you do not have will not fix it. Then use a pause, not forever, just long enough for the emotion to cool down. 24 hours can change the whole purchase because emotional spending feels urgent. That urgency is part of the trap. The item feels like it has to happen now. The order has to happen now. The upgrade has to happen now. The sale has to happen now. But if the purchase is still worth it tomorrow, you can still choose it tomorrow. And if the desire disappears, you did not want the thing. You wanted the escape. That pause protects you from buying from the most exhausted version of yourself. Then build low-cost recovery rituals. This sounds simple, but it matters. Because if every form of relief costs money, then being stressed becomes expensive. You need ways to recover that do not drain your account every time life gets heavy. A walk, a quiet meal at home, a phone call with someone who understands you, cleaning your space, journaling, stretching, exercising, watching something free, going to sleep earlier, meal prepping so tomorrow does not punish you, sitting outside without needing to buy anything, creating a night routine that does not involve scrolling through things you suddenly want, and maybe most important, setting boundaries. Because sometimes the most expensive thing in your life is not a product. It is the habit of saying yes when you are already empty. Real self-care is not always soft. Sometimes it is discipline. Sometimes it is saying no. Sometimes it is checking the account before making the purchase. Sometimes it is cooking even though delivery sounds easier. Sometimes it is choosing sleep over another hour of scrolling. Sometimes it is protecting money before your mood gets access to it. That does not sound glamorous, but it creates peace. And peace is the point. Because the goal is not to stop enjoying life. The goal is to stop paying for relief in a way that creates more pressure later. Self-care should help you recover. But if the thing you call self-care keeps draining your money, adding guilt, increasing stress, and making next month harder, then it is not really care anymore. It is survival spending. And survival spending is understandable. It makes sense when life feels heavy. It makes sense when you are tired. It makes sense when you feel like you are doing everything right and still not getting ahead. But it becomes dangerous when your future self keeps carrying the cost of today's exhaustion. Because there is a difference between buying comfort and building peace. Comfort helps for a moment. Peace changes the way tomorrow feels. And that is what your money should be helping you do. Not just escape the day. Not just survive the week. Not just feel okay for the length of a delivery order or a checkout confirmation, but slowly build a life where you are not so easy to financially shake, a life where every stressful day does not have the power to spend your progress, a life where your money does not disappear every time your emotions get loud, a life where care is not always something you have to buy, because the goal is not to become cheap. The goal is to build a life where peace does not always have to be purchased. And once you see that difference, you start looking at spending differently, not with shame, not with guilt, but with clarity. You start asking whether the purchase is helping you recover or just postponing the pressure. And that one question can change more than your spending. It can change what your money is allowed to do for you. If this made you look at your spending differently, subscribe to Fiscal Sense, because the goal is not to look like you are doing fine. The goal is to build a life that actually feels lighter.